What's up, guys? It's Greg here with Ugly Mug Outdoors. I'm coming to you YouTube live. We are going to go over the Tokyo rig. We're going to dissect this thing a little bit. My last video on the DIY has done pretty good for you all. Hope it's gave you all a lot of information. And I got you some new parts to use and broke down the cost a little bit better to better understand this. As you can see, I'm using a new type of rod. The last one that I showed you that you could get at um, the craft stores, that was the 18 gauge floral wire. It's been working very well. As you can see right here, I still use these setups, and I actually have one tied on my spinning reel right now. Um, this setup is very sturdy, works very well. But again, this one right here, I found it, and I found a great deal on it, and I'll show you exactly what it is. Alright, so we're going to get into this just real quick. Flip the camera around so you can see me. Good evening, guys. So, here we go. Again, this is the Tokyo rig. I'll link it. We'll link the DIY video, but I'm also going to be showing you here for the Tokyo rig and show you exactly kind of how I go through this and how I go through setting this up, choosing what I go. We're also going to dissect this Tokyo rig. This is again one that I've made. Kind of goes hand in hand with the true VMC Tokyo rig. Um, so maybe with me showing you this, get your gears turning, maybe show you an easy way, a cheaper way to build these than a lot of the other ones. This is a very strong and sturdy way to build these, um, and they're completely uh, rust resistant. So we're going to dive into this for the Tokyo rig real quick. I'm going to flip the camera back around so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, first we're going to start off Tokyo rig. You got a very simple, essential way to set up the Tokyo rig. It's simply the hook, the split ring, the swivel, and what I call the weight rod. Um, we'll start up here to the hook because it's the most variable part of the Tokyo rig. Right here, if you can kind of see this, this is an offset hook. I found this hook very good for a setup using this with um, a fancy tailed worm, U-tail worm. Um, for some reason, this offset, I guess it's the way that it moves, helps with the U-tail worm. Um, so you can see in my other setups, that's just a regular straight worm hook. I got a finesse hook. I got an octopus hook. I've been using it with a 3/0 um, a 3/0 hook for your other plastics like your craws and stuff like that. It works really well. So you can see that I've broke it down into its situational and what presentation you're going after. Situational, knowing the environment that you're going to be throwing this in, whether it's heavy grass, whether it's rock, whether it's mud, um, that kind of changes what you're going to throw in your presentation on how you're going to throw it. Um, so, you know, what I'm doing and what I'm going through is I'm making up again a lot of different styles, different setups. I'm not going overboard and going crazy with it, uh, but it gives me some different options, something I can tie on real quick, get another bait back out in the water. Uh, and then we'll keep on moving on to the split ring. The split ring that I'm using this time is very small split ring. Um, this is actually a 5.2 millimeter, I'm pretty sure. Um, it's a very small split ring, but it's very strong. I have I actually ordered these for you guys that if you've ever used Wish or Geek, I ordered these on there. I got a pack of 200, I think for $6 shipped to the door. It took like 2 weeks to come in. Um, these are really strong. They're so strong that even when you're putting this thick of a hook and everything else on it, it doesn't lose its spring. I was using the Eagle Claw. Try to focus that in. I was using the Eagle Claw split rings before, and I was having a problem with them gapping after I got everything put on there from where I was putting all this thick stuff through it. As you can see, very minor gap, and it's still very small presentation. Um, Something that you could easily mask and make it look a little bit more natural. All right, so you see that I have it broke down into size, strength, and shape. Um, the size, again, is more of a personal preference. Um, what I'm going to say about that is know where you are fishing. Know the fish that are in the area. If you have fish that are getting targeted all the time, you might want to go with something smaller like this setup and get something smaller. The strength, you always want to make sure that you got the strong split ring. Yes, these are all of them are pretty strong across the board, but know what you're buying. Get something that's good that's not going to fail on you. And then the shape. One thing that I have not purchased yet to try Tokyo Rig is the oblong split rings. Um, it's one that I've been wanting to try. I've not got around to get down to Bass Pro because it's about 45 minutes away or so um, to go down and pick up a pack of those. Um, but I'm gonna pick up a pack. I'm gonna tie up a couple Tokyo rigs, try them out, and see where they stand. I know that they are supposed to be stronger. I actually think it's going to work out very well for this setup and a couple other setups that I'm working with right now. Um, so again, it's personal preference. So we're going to move on to the swivel. And swivel, I have it simply broke down to size and strength. Um, what do you want to use? For me, again, I started off using these. These are the Eagle Claw swivels. A couple different styles and sizes here. Um, they work really well. They haven't failed on me yet. I've used them for a lot of different setups. And we'll go back to the one that I just built. You can see this swivel is extremely small. Extremely small. Again, this is something that I bought on the Wish or Geek website. These are Leong Yuan fishing tackle. I think these are the classified them as a size 1. But as you can see, I got 200 of them for $3 and like $2 shipping, so $5 for 200. So just in those two parts, I'm at what, $11, and for 200 of them. The hook is something that I've had around for several years, so I don't have any cost in that. So that's something to maybe look into. Maybe it'll give you some options on what to grab. And last but least, the weight rod. This is the one that is going to get kind of interesting. As you can see, it kind of looks kind of copper. It's very stiff. It's got some good flexibility to it without it deforming. See, we can get real far bent here without it really deforming. And you'll probably never be able to guess what this really is. I seen it. It hit me as I was going through a store that we have here called Rural King. It's Rural, Rural King. This is actually welding wire. I was walking through the store the other day. I come by this. They had actually dropped a spool and it broke. And if anyone that knows welding wire or welding in general, with MIG wire, if you drop that spool, um, it's going to turn into something that looks like this. Yeah, it is a giant mess. But look at all that wire. All of that wire was $7. You can use this stuff for not only the weight rod. You can see here, there's Rural King. Um, Again, $7 for that entire bag. But you can use it for the weight for that. There's all sorts of different applications you can use this thing for. Um, where it is flux coated and flux cord, you should never have to worry about this thing rusting in the water. Again, it's a very stiff wire. It doesn't hardly bend. Um, I mean, for normal wear and tear, it's going to bend a little bit. You know, whenever you want it to bend. You can see that it right there. It twists around itself really well. It holds itself really well. Um, so I'm expecting a lot of good outcome from it. So I'm gonna hand the camera over to my wife real quick, and she's gonna hold this while I'll show you exactly what I got going on and kind of how to use this. All right, guys. So here again, I made this a little better than last time. Also, you can actually see what I'm doing. We got the Tokyo rig that I was showing you in the demonstration there. Weight rod, swivel, split ring, hook. So here's a piece of that welding wire that I've already cut out. I cut out a real big piece just so I can mess around with it a little bit. You can see on this end that I've been playing around with, I've already tried a new loop and got it swiveled around on a split ring and got a swivel on it. But I'm going to show you exactly how I done that. So just like last time with that floral wire, this stuff's a lot more stiff, and as far as the rod strength, I guess you would call it, but it doesn't break. So you can tell that I'm pushing on it pretty good right here, and it's just taking a lot to bend it. So follow it on around, kind of like I did last time. What I like to do is after I kind of get that started forming, I come back here, bend it back just a little bit, so you kind of got a shape kind of like this. All right, and then kind of come down just a little bit, pull this on down around, and then get ready to bend in. So you have almost, I'd call it a D loop. You can kind of see it there. Whenever you pull that around, you kind of get this a D loop right here. So if you squeeze that together just a little bit with your fishing pliers, you get it to give you a nice little arch right there in the top. Right there in the very top, you get a little arch. And see, you get a good intersection right here, so you got somewhere to go to start with whenever you twist this wire together. So just like last time, grab a pair of hemostats. You can pick these up just about anywhere. These are actually the ones I carry fishing with me. They're the curved, so that they help out a little bit. But again, I come back, I use the heavier part of the hemostat, and I clamp on right above where I'm going to be twisting. I give it just a little bit of head space. Kind of hard to see, but give it a little bit of head space right there. Clamp those down real tight. You don't want this thing to move. All right, and then we go in with our fishing pliers. Definitely use the fishing pliers if you're going to use welding wire. The floral wire, you could twist it with your hands. It wasn't too bad. This one's quite a bit stiffer as far as trying to get this thing to twist around. I mean, you can see I'm a pretty big guy, pretty strong guy. You can see how hard you kind of have to push it to get it to go. You can do it. You know, it's not something you want to make a whole lot of setups with doing it that way. But do yourself a favor, grab your other pliers and do it that way. You can see here as I got started, it's kind of separated out. If this happens to you, don't worry about it. I got a little trick to help you. This happened to me when I was making one earlier, and I found that this is a really easy way to take care of it. Take your pliers, go to the bottom part of your hemostat, and on the tag end of your wire, take and press it down. And then you come back to the other side, same thing, press it down. All right, you can see it pushed it right back down and a nice real tight loop again. All right, so grab your pliers, come over here to the tag end, and just keep twisting around. Remember, don't grab it too tight with your pliers, because you want this wire to spin around itself. If you start getting a wire that comes up real high, press it back down to where it's kind of parallel, or not parallel, perpendicular to your main line, and just keep twisting it around, twisting it around. This is when these type of pliers are very handy, rather than just using normal household pliers. You can see these pliers, they have different setups. They've got a curved end, a nice needle, or like kind of like a needle nose pliers. Then you got a small gap. You got the weight crimping ends here. You got the wide gap. Then you got your cutters. Whenever I get down to where it's kind of tight like that, I move back to that first gap, crimp it down real good. That way there's nothing sticking out. And you got a good smooth end right there. You should be able to run your finger over that without it causing any problems. Now, if you run into this situation, like right here, it looks good that way. When you turn it sideways, you got a little bit of a kinked head. Don't worry, don't fret about it. Grab on to the loop with your hemostats, grab your pliers, just simply ease it back. Let's see where we're at. Okay, that's a lot better. So we're back nice and straight. Just like the other setup, you're going to go right back into the split ring. I'll show you these split rings again real quick. Again, they're a little bit smaller than the original ones that I used. These are, again, I'll show you the sticker on it here. It's a 5.2 by 0.6 size. These are supposed to hold up to, I forget how many kilograms of pressure before they bend out. I think it's something like 16 or something. I'm not 100% positive. So, but plenty strong enough. I tried bending these things out and it didn't work at all. So just like last time, with my hemostat, I grab onto the very first slot where you can still open up your split ring. Kind of get it to where you can see it here. So using my pliers and my hemostats, see, you can still open that up. I'll grab my wire. And pops right up over the wire. Using your hemostat, keep spinning that loop around. And just a few short twists, your split ring's on. Again, this comes down to the final steps of choosing your hook and choosing your swivel. But this right here is your basics of the Tokyo rig, as far as what makes it unique in its own essence. But again, I like using the floral wire and this stuff because you're not limited to what size you can make it. You can make it. These are 1-inch squares, so you can make it 3 inches. You can make it 4 inches, 6 inches, whatever you want. I've been cutting most of mine at about 3 inches, so about right in there somewhere. And as you can see, it cuts very cleanly. There's no barbs. That's the benefit of using this wire. The floral wire, whenever you cut it, you get a little bit of a knurl in this metal right here. Not a big deal. I took my pliers, just kind of flatten it out. The welding wire, cuts very cleanly without having any problems. As you can see, I can push down on it. This thing flexes around, but it keeps its shape. Um, I think it's going to be a good option. I've not got to use it yet. Like I said, I just found this the other day. I know I've not had any uploads recently. I went through for the people that know me, um, I work at a company that makes corrugated material um, into cartons and boxes. We recently got a food grade certification, and my job at that company is um, my title is a food safety coordinator. With my biology degree, it was a good fit for me to go into this. I head up all of the food safety at this company. Um, so, in a 9 to 10 month period, I took this company from never having a food grade certification up to scoring a near excellent score on the what's called an SQF audit, Safe Quality Foods. So that took a lot of time, a lot of stress. I've not got to get out and do a lot of things recently or get a lot of videos to you guys because it was it was very taxing and a lot of stress. Um, so I do apologize for that. Work with me just a little bit. I'm going to be pumping out a lot better videos, a lot longer, a lot better, or a lot more frequently. Um, I'm working with my guy that printed the 3D printing the 3D lure. If you've seen it on my Instagram, I've actually went through, gave it a really awesome paint job. I'm gonna try that out. The new one that I'm working on, it's something like I've never seen before. I've researched a lot on this design that I'm working on. Um, the guy that does the 3D printing, congratulations to him. He's getting ready to be a new father within any time. I think they're about 3 weeks out from having their baby, so he's been kind of behind the 8 ball, and I've not been pushing him on getting it ready yet. His name is, if you all want to use him for that 3D printed lure like I have, his company is Print 3D. His name is Cody Gaskins. Um, he has that file saved that made my first 3D printed lure. Shoot him an email, get a hold of him. Like I said, he made me one. I think it was $6, and all I had to do is add the eyelets and the split rings and hooks. Again, there's a video on that. Pretty simple process. The thing works very well. It swims great. Then once I got it painted up, I think it's going to be a Slayer this year. Along with these Tokyo rigs, I think it's going to be a good year. Hopefully, we're finally starting to get back to a little bit of a calm weather system here in East Tennessee. We still got a lot of water standing everywhere. Water levels are still pretty high. I know that all of the TVA dams in the area. I hope you get a lot. Um, one thing I do ask you guys at Ugly Mud, get a hold of me any way you can. I also have a quick question for you all. I have been going through a terrible time with soft plastic storage. So if you have any suggestions, please send me some suggestions. I've tried just a Tupperware tote kind of ordeal. It still doesn't work very well. I've put them in plastic baggies. I've tried them in tackle boxes. It just doesn't really suit my style right now. I currently don't have a boat. Looking to hopefully get a boat soon. Maybe things pan out a little bit better. But just shoot me some suggestions. But guys, thank you again. Thank you for everything. Again, it's about 10 Eastern. I love you and always give praise. Good night, guys.